Okay, let's dive into something pretty interesting today. We're exploring this collection of thoughts called RupeshDilSe. Now, just going by the material we have, it seems to represent the insights, the lessons Rupesh Jain gathered directly from his own life experience.
Right, like distilled wisdom straight from, well, living life.
Exactly.
It gives it a certain grounding, doesn't it? These aren't just abstract ideas. They come from real-world stuff.
Mm-hmm. Practical application. And the specific bit we're digging into today from this collection, it's titled Professionalism over Perfectionism. So our goal here, our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack the core message. It feels like it tackles a really common tension.
Yeah, the tension between like always chasing perfect versus just maintaining really high professional standards. The source gets straight to it. It says, and let me quote this part. Don't get confused between professionalism versus perfectionism.
Yeah.
Some degree of imperfection is fine, but don't compromise on high degree of standards you follow for professionalism to achieve sustainable long-term success.
Wow, okay. That quote really cuts through the noise, doesn't it? So what's the absolute key takeaway there? What's the critical difference this text wants us to get?
Well, it highlights that imperfection. It's not necessarily a failure, a project, or an outcome. It doesn't have to be completely flawless to be good or valuable. What is crucial, according to this source, is the standard of professionalism you bring to the table. That's the non-negotiable part.
Okay, right. So perfectionism, that could lead you down that rabbit hole, endlessly tweaking tiny details, maybe never finishing, because you're chasing this, like, impossible ideal.
Exactly that, yeah. And professionalism in contract is more about focusing on the standards. Standards of how you work, the quality you deliver where it really counts, delivering work that, does its job, getting it done on time, communicating clearly. It's about that consistency that builds trust over, well, the long haul.
I can definitely see how that applies really broadly. Not just in a typical office job, but like the source sense and maybe personal projects, even relationships, are those life lessons it mentions. You might not ace every single interaction perfectly, but being consistently respectful, reliable, that keeps the standard high.
Precisely, that's the foundation, isn't it? For achieving things sustainably. You accept some minor imperfections, because that's reality, but you don't bend on the professional process, the core quality, the integrity. Making that distinction is, well, vital if you want to avoid getting stuck and actually build something lasting.
So the real insight here from this Rupesh Dilsey note is powerful. Know the difference. Don't let chasing some impossible perfection block you. Anchor yourself in solid, um, uncompromised professionalism. That's the road, drawing from those life experiences to sustainable long-term
Yeah,
success.
it gives you a really practical way to look at your own work, your own approach.
It really does. And, that brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on after this deep dive. Where in your own life, or maybe your work, could embracing this idea of professionalism over perfectionism actually unlock greater success in the long run?